Hello friends, we are going to see partnership final account. Friends, when we get problem from partnership final account, we see that problem having two components. One is trial balance and other is different adjustments. Now, in actual partnership business also, we have to make certain adjustments in order to get true financial position in case of balance sheet and accurate financial results in case of trading account, profit and loss account and profit and loss appropriation account. Friends, in order to ensure that such true financial position and true financial results, we have to make certain adjustments while preparing final accounts. It is to be ascertained that all the items of expenses and incomes shown in profit and loss account are relating to accounting year only. If there are certain expenses paid related to next year or maybe for previous year, they should be properly adjusted. Similarly, the expense of the current year, if not paid during the year that is outstanding, we have to take it into the account. In the same way, items of income received may include income of the previous year or income for the next year. It should be deducted from income of the current year. Now, income earned but not received should be taken into account. Same way, true position of assets and liabilities on a particular date we have to take into consideration while recording in the balance sheet. All these things we can do by carrying out proper adjustments. Let us see some important adjustments we have to carry out in case of partnership final account. The first adjustment is about outstanding expenses. Now when we have taken benefit, we have employed some workers but yet we have not paid their wages, so we can say it as outstanding wages. Like that expense is known as outstanding expense, which is also known as unpaid expense. Now, there are two effects of outstanding expense. One effect is there in case of trading or profit and loss account. We have to add it in the respective item from trading or profit and loss account. Second effect we have to give on the liability side of balance sheet. Let us take example. There is one adjustment, outstanding wages rupees 5,000. What we have to do is we have to add it in the wages on debit side of trading account. That is first effect. And second effect is we have to show outstanding wages under outstanding expenses in liability side of balance sheet. Let us see second adjustment. Second adjustment is of outstanding income. Now, when we earn some income but we are not receiving that time it is known as outstanding income. Let us say we earned some interest, maybe 5,000, but yet it is not credited to our account or yet we have not received that in cash. That time it is outstanding interest or outstanding income we can say. Now, outstanding income is also known as income due but not received. We can say it as income receivable. Also we can say it as income earned but not received. Now there are two effects. One is there in trading profit loss account and other is in balance sheet. Now when there is item of outstanding income, first effect we have to give is that we have to add that income in concerned item on credit side. Second is we have to show it on asset side of balance sheet as outstanding salary outstanding, interest, whatever outstanding income is there. Let us take one example. There is adjustment that we earned interest of rupees 5,000 but not yet received. What we have to do is, we have to add that 5,000 rupees on credit side of profit and loss account in interest. That is one effect, and we have to show outstanding interest or interest receivable on asset side of balance sheet, that 5,000 rupees. Let us see third adjustment. Third usual adjustment is about prepaid expenses. Now, when we are paying some expenses in advance, they are known as prepaid expenses. We pay insurance premium for the year, maybe for 3 months, 6 months in advance. That time, that 3 months, 6 months insurance is our prepaid insurance. Prepaid expense is also known as expense paid in advance. We can say it as unexpired expense. Now, when we are making such adjustment, that time two effects we have to give. One effect is that we have to deduct that expense from debit side of either trading or profit and loss account where that item appears. Second effect is that we have to show that expense or that item on asset side of balance sheet. Let us take example. There is adjustment that prepaid insurance rupees 3,000. What we have to do? We have to deduct that 3,000 amount from debit side of profit and loss account from insurance. That is one effect. And for second effect, we have to show prepaid insurance on asset side of balance sheet. Let us go towards fourth adjustment, that is income received in advance. Sometimes what happens, we receive income before earning. Now which effect we have to give? We have to give first effect, that deduct that income from particular item on of either trading account or profit and loss account credit side. Second is that we have to show it on liability side of balance sheet. Let us see example. When we are having interest received in advance 20,000, what we have to do? We have to deduct that 20,000 from interest on credit side of profit and loss account. That is one effect. And for second effect, we have to show interest received in advance on liability side of balance sheet. Now let us go towards fifth adjustment. This is related with depreciation. Now depreciation we have to charge at a fixed rate on either cost or written down value of all fixed assets. Fixed assets, when we say, we come to know that there is land and building, there is plant and machinery, furniture, vehicles, etc. Now, which are the two effects? First effect is that we have to show depreciation on specific asset on debit side of profit and loss account. Second effect is that we have to deduct the amount of depreciation from particular fixed asset on asset side of balance sheet. Let us take example. We are having adjustment, depreciate machinery by 10%. Now we have to see amount of machinery on asset side. It is say 80,000. Now we have to calculate 10% of 80,000, that's 8,000. What we have to do is, we have to deduct rupees 8,000 from 80,000 on asset side of balance sheet. So 70,000 to 72,000 will remain. Now this deducted 8,000 we have to record on debit side of profit and loss account as to depreciation on machinery. Like that adjustment is there in case of depreciation. Let us go towards the next adjustment, reserve for doubtful debts, that is RDD. Now what we have to do is, we have to give two effects of RDD. Say adjustment is given reserve for doubtful debts at the rate of 5% on sundry debtors. In that case, we have to see whether old RDD is given in our trial balance credit side, whether bad debts written off is given in the debit side of trial balance, or maybe in adjustments write off bad debt rupees 2000 like that. Now, when we are having with us bad debt, old RDD and new RDD, all these three things, what we have to do is we have to see if new RDD, that is calculated RDD plus bad debt, is more than old RDD, then we have to show on debit side of profit and loss account as bad debt plus new RDD minus old RDD. In other case, if our old RDD is more than the total of new RDD and bad debt, then we have to show on credit side of profit and loss account as old RDD minus bad debt minus new RDD. Now, if only bad debt and new RDD is there, then on debit side of profit and loss account, we have to show bad debt plus new RDD. And if only new RDD is there, no old RDD, no bad debt, then whatever we calculated, we have to show on debit side of profit and loss account as to reserve for doubtful debt. Now in balance sheet, whatever amount of new RDD we have to calculate, that we have to calculate on sundry debtors and deduct from sundry debtors. Now one thing is there, if adjustment for bad debt and adjustment for RDD both are given, in that case we have to deduct at first bad debt amount from debtor, and whatever amount of debtor remain after deducting bad debt, on that we have to calculate RDD, that is reserve for doubtful debt. Let us see next adjustment, reserve for discount on debtors. Now when we calculate reserve for discount on debtors, we have to see whether discount is given, whether old reserve is given in trial balance. Now if it is given, then new reserve plus discount is more than old reserve. In that case we have to show on debit side of profit and loss account as new reserve plus discount minus old reserve. In other case, if old reserve is more than new reserve and discount total, then our calculated new reserve and discount should be deducted from old reserve on credit side of profit and loss account, and we have to deduct from sundry debtors from asset side whatever our new reserve percentage is given. Now let us go towards next adjustment, which is reserve for discount on creditors. Now friend, when carrying out adjustment for reserve for discount on creditors, we have to see whether discount received as well as old reserve for discount on creditors are given on credit side of trial balance. If they are not given, no problem, we have to just deduct whatever percentage reserve is given from liability side of balance sheet from item sundry creditors and show on the credit side of profit and loss account as by discount on creditors. But if that discount is given, old reserve is given, then we have to deduct or we have to add which amounts. Let us see. If old reserve is more than new reserve and discount total, then that thing we have to show on debit side of profit and loss account. If our new reserve and discount received total is more than old reserve, then we have to show on credit side of profit and loss account. Now let us see what we have to do in case of another adjustment, which is about write-off bad debts. Now when we have to write off bad debts, that down two simple effects we have to give. We have to deduct from debtors on asset side of balance sheet whatever amount of bad debt is there, and second effect is that we have to show that amount on debit side of profit and loss account. Now let us see one transaction, one adjustment is given. Write off bad debt 10% on sundry debtors. Now we are having debtors of 1 lakh. On that 10%, so 10,000, we have to deduct that 10,000 from asset side debtors. 1 lakh minus 10,000, debtors will remain in outer column as 90,000. Now whatever 10,000 bad debts we have deducted, that bad debts we have to show on debit side of profit and loss account as 2 bad debts 10,000. See next adjustment. Next adjustment is of deferred revenue expenditure. Now, what is deferred revenue expenditure? It is heavy expenditure made, usually of the nature of revenue expenditure, but because of it is heavy, we are going to get benefit of it for more than one accounting period. For more accounting periods, it is known as deferred revenue expenditure. Now what effects we have to give for it? Let us see examples of deferred revenue expenditure. Heavy advertisement expenditure we make, or employee uniform which may be used for 4-5 years we give to employees. That expenditures are called deferred revenue expenditure because they are neither capital expenditure or from its heavy amounts we can't say they are revenue expenditure. So they are deferred revenue expenditure. Now for such deferred revenue expenditure, whatever amount we are writing off for that particular year, that should be recorded on debit side of profit and loss account, and whatever is not written off or part of that expenditure, it is shown on balance sheet asset side. Let us take example. If on balance sheet asset side there is heavy advertisement expenditure of 1 lakh to be written off during 5 accounting years, what we have to do? We will get adjustment as write off 1/5 of the heavy advertisement expense. Now on balance sheet what we will do? See, we have 1 lakh, 1/5 of 1 lakh is 20,000. So 1 lakh minus 20,000, 80,000 in outer column on balance sheet we will get for heavy advertisement expense. Now that 20,000 written off we have to write on debit side of profit and loss account as heavy advertisement expenses written off 20,000. Like that is the effect of deferred revenue expenditure. Next is bills receivable dishonored. Now when bills receivable dishonored, two effects are: we have to deduct that amount of bills receivable dishonored from bills receivable on asset side of balance sheet, and we have to add it in the sundry debtors in the balance sheet asset side. Now let us see one adjustment is there. Adjustment is bills receivable dishonored 20,000. What we have to do? Deduct 20,000 from bills receivable on asset side and add in sundry debtors on asset side rupees 20,000. In another case, if discounted bills receivable is dishonored, what we have to do? What we have to do is bank balance given on asset side, from that we have to deduct the amount of discounted bills receivable and add to the debtors on asset side. Let us see one adjustment is there. Discounted bills receivable of rupees 15,000 is dishonored. What we have to do? Deduct 15,000 from bank balance and add 15,000 in sundry debtors on asset side of balance sheet. Let us see next adjustment, which is of unrecorded purchases. Now when there is unrecorded purchases, what we have to do? We have to see Which type of purchases are there? If they are credit purchases, what we have to do? We have to add the amount of that purchase transaction in purchases on trading account debit side and in sundry creditors on liability side of balance sheet. Very simple. Unrecorded purchases rupees 20,000. What we have to do? We have to add 20,000 in purchase trading debit and we have to add 20,000 in creditors balance sheet liability side. If they are cash purchases, what we have to do? We have to add whatever is purchase amount in purchases on trading account debit side and we have to deduct the amount of purchases from cash or bank balance on asset side of balance sheet. Same happens in case of unrecorded sales. When unrecorded sales is given, let us see if sales are credit sales. Then we have to add in sale on credit side of trading account and debtors on asset side of balance sheet. If they are cash sales, what we have to do? We have to add the amount of cash sales in credit side of trading account and second effect, we have to add that cash received from sale in cash or bank balance on asset side of balance sheet. Let us go towards goods sold on sale or return basis. Now, when we are selling goods on sale or return basis, what we have to do is we have to give 4 effects. 2 effects at selling price and 2 effects at cost. We have to deduct from sale on trading credit and debtors on balance sheet asset selling price of whatever goods we sold on sale or return basis. Second effect is that we have to add cost price of such goods in closing stock both on trading credit and balance sheet assets. Now let us see. We sold goods of rupees 20,000 on sale or return basis. Cost of such goods is say 15,000. What we have to do? We have to deduct 20,000 rupees from sale, trading credit, debtors, balance sheet asset. We have to add rupees 15,000 cost price in closing stock on trading credit as well as balance sheet asset. Like that it happens. Let us see next adjustment. Goods withdrawn by partners for personal use. Now when partners withdraw goods for personal use, that time 2 effects we have to give for that transaction. Which are they? First effect is that we have to show that item on trading account credit side as goods withdrawn by partner Mr. X for personal use. Second effect is that it is drawing, so we have to deduct it from partner's capital. Now let us say our partner Mr. Amar withdrew goods of rupees 20,000 for his personal use. What we have to do? We have to show on trading account credit side. Buy goods withdrawn by Mr. Amar for personal use rupees 20,000. Second effect is that we have to deduct rupees 20,000 as drawing from capital account or current account, whatever is given. If current and capital both given, then from current account. If only capital given, then from capital account of Mr. Amar. Now, instead of showing on trading account credit side by goods withdrawn, we can deduct directly from purchase on trading debit side rupees 20,000 as drawing or withdrawn for personal use. This alternate effect can be given. Let us go towards next adjustment. which is goods distributed as free sample. Sometime for advertisement purpose, we are distributing some goods as free sample. What adjustment we have to carry out? We have to show this as buy goods distributed as free sample on trading account credit side, and second effect we have to show on profit and loss account debit side as two advertisement. Let us say example goods of rupees 20,000 distributed as free sample. What will happen? On trading credit we will record by goods distributed as free sample 20,000. On profit and loss account debit side we record two advertisement rupees 20,000. Instead of showing on trading account credit side, we can deduct that 20,000 amount from purchases as less good distributed as free sample 20,000. This alternative effect. Friends, we are going to see next adjustment, that is loss of uninsured goods by fire. Friends, when uninsured goods lost by fire, that time what happens is that first effect we have to give to the credit side of trading account as by goods lost by fire. Second effect we have to give to the debit side of profit and loss account as to loss by fire. Let us take example. Goods of rupees 3,000 lost by fire. One effect we will give to the trading credit, buy goods lost by fire 3,000. Second effect we will give to the debit side of profit and loss account as to loss by fire 3,000. Instead of showing that amount of 3,000 on trading account credit side, we can alternatively deduct it from purchases on trading account debit side. Let us go towards the next adjustment, loss of insured goods by fire. Now, whenever insured good loss is there, what we have to do is, first effect we have to give definitely trading credit by goods lost by fire. Now, insurance claim we get from it. For that we have to give effect on balance sheet asset side, insurance claim receivable. Now what is difference between trading credit and balance sheet asset? That is goods lost by fire and insurance claim receivable. That difference is shown on profit and loss account debit side as to loss by fire. Let us take example. Goods of rupees 20,000 lost by fire, an insurance company is going to pay us compensation of rupees 16,000. What we have to do is 20,000 is our actual loss, that will be on trading credit by goods lost by fire. 16,000 is our insurance claim receivable, that we will show on balance sheet asset side. Now difference between these two, that is rupees 4,000, should be shown on debit side of profit and loss account. Now instead of showing that 20,000 on trading credit by lost by goods lost by fire, we can deduct it from trading debit from purchases. Let us go towards next adjustment, wages paid for installation of machinery. Now when we are incurring wages for installation of machinery and they are included in the wages, what we have to do is we have to deduct that wages from trading account debit side and add to the machinery on balance sheet asset side. Let us see one adjustment is there. Wages include rupees 3,000 incurred for installation of machinery. What we will do? Deduct rupees 3,000 from trading debit wages, add it to the machinery on balance sheet asset side, rupees 3,000. That effect we have to give. Next adjustment is unrecorded credit purchase of asset. Now, when there is unrecorded credit purchase of asset, what we have to do is, if that type of asset is there, then we have to add in that on balance sheet asset. If not there, then we have to write separate item on balance sheet asset side, and whatever is the amount for that, we have to write creditors for name of that asset rupees dash dash on liability side of balance sheet. Let us take one example. When we purchase machinery of rupees 50,000 on credit and it is still unrecorded, what we will do? If there is machinery on asset side, we will add that 50,000 to it. If machinery item is not there, we will write separately on balance sheet asset machinery 50,000. And on liability side of balance sheet, we will write creditors for machinery 50,000. Like that is the effect of such unrecorded credit purchase of asset. Next adjustment is of closing stock. From standard 11 till today, all of us are getting benefit of that adjustment because it is a very simple adjustment, and all of us are knowing that we value closing stock at cost or market price, whichever is less. Now two effects are there. First effect is trading account credit side by closing stock, and second effect is balance sheet asset side closing stock. Next is interest on partners capital. Now friends, when there is interest on partners capital, first effect is that we have to show it on debit side of profit and loss appropriation account, and second effect is that in liability side of balance sheet we have to add that interest on capital in that particular partner's capital account, or maybe current account in case of fixed capital system. Now let us see. In partnership firm, Mr. Y is a partner. He is having capital of 20,000 and he is getting interest at the rate of 10% per annum. So on 20,000, 10% is 2,000. So that 2,000 first effect will be profit and loss appropriation account debit side to interest on Y's capital 2,000, and wherever there is either current or capital account of Mr. Y in balance sheet liability side, we have to add interest on capital 2,000. Like that is its effect. Let us go towards next adjustment, that is interest on drawings. Now this interest on drawing adjustment is completely opposite to interest on partners capital. Which are the effects? First effect is that we have to show it on or record it on credit side of profit and loss appropriation account. Second effect we have to give is we have to deduct it from capital or current account of that particular partner on liability side of balance sheet. Let us say example, interest on drawings of Mr. Y is rupees 1,000. What we will do? We have to write on credit side of appropriation account by interest on Y's drawings 1,000. Wherever there is capital or current account of Y on liability side of balance sheet, we have to deduct, we have to less interest on Y's drawing 1,000. Then next adjustment is salary to partner. Now when we are giving salary to partner, we have to show it on debit side of profit and loss appropriation account, and second effect, definitely we have to add it in the capital or current account of partner on liability side of balance sheet. Let us take example. Salary of Mr. Z is rupees 12,000. What we have to do? We have to write on debit side of profit and loss appropriation account to salary to Mr. Z rupees 12,000, and second effect is we have to show it On liability side in capital or current account as add salary to Mr. Z in Z's capital rupees 12,000. Like that is its effect. In this particular lecture, we have seen different adjustments which we have to carry out while preparing final accounts of a partnership firm. Friends, these adjustments are of very much important in the process of preparing and tallying final accounts of partnership firm. We are going to stop here. Thank you.